Warning: the material discussed in this show may be sensitive or a trigger for some listeners. Strong language and topics are discussed. We talk with active duty service members and practice OPSEC at all times. You have been warned.
The Bipolar DM, Jason Cottam. His show talks about Dungeons and Dragons, indie writing, and living with a mental illness, in particular bipolar disorder, borderline disorder, and major depression, among other diagnoses. Check us out right here on Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, also on WLFE-DB.com, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. So take a seat, sit back, and get ready for the Bipolar DM.
Hey, this is the Bipolar DM. Hi, I'm Jason. Sorry, we're having a little technical difficulty going on right now with a guest. We're trying to get him to get on. Sorry about that. Don't know what's going on. But anyways, this is a show about Dungeons and Dragons, indie writing, and living with a mental illness, in particular bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and major depression, among other diagnoses. You can watch us live on W. Oh, there we go. Oh. Sorry, I meant to have that turned off. Watch us live on WLFE-DB.com or here on Facebook at Bipolar DM is the handle for that. You can watch us also on Stream TV under the Variety Unlimited channel. And we are on Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Bipolar DM. You can watch us on YouTube, and we are on twitch.tv /The Bipolar on Twitch TV, so you catch us there. For those of you who are interested in supporting our podcast, we have our Patreon account. For those of you who are fans and want to help us with the production costs, we have to pay for a lot of this stuff out of our pockets, out of my own pocket. Really, this is a one-man operation. So whatever you're able to give us is great, and we appreciate it. We have different levels of support, starting at $5, going on up to $20, and we have T-shirts, we have buttons, stickers, all kinds of little goodies there on. And also, Veteran Podcast Awards is just started for voting. So the Veteran Podcast Awards, what that is we have a day now, an official holiday called Military Podcast Day, and is to recognize the military veterans who are in active duty who do podcasting. And voting has already begun. It is started today and is going on until September 10th, 2021. Winners will be announced on October 5th, 2021. That's on the Veteran Podcaster Awards Day. Veteran Podcaster Day. And let's see, veterans there, upcoming show. Oh, yes. Our next show is going to be a little bit interesting. I'm going to be keeping this weekend, this coming next Saturday. But I am going to go ahead and still put on the show. I'm just going to be doing it from the tent or from my vehicle, or however we want to do this. So this is my show. It's going to be from the woods, and that's going to be real interesting. I don't know how long we're going to go, but I'm really excited about that. News and noteworthy, we have I just got back from a trip to Colorado. It was with a group called No Barriers, and okay. Okay. All right. So it looks like it's just going to be a one-man operation today. No problem whatsoever. Um, but anyway, so warriors, and they are a great organization. They help out veterans, and yeah, hey, yeah, I'm glad to be back. Yes, got back last night and flew in from Denver, Colorado. Fortunately, it was just a straight shot aircraft. Extremely small. It's like the smallest in the fleet. Is this aircraft that I was on, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. So this trip was sponsored by No Barriers. I didn't pay anything out of pockets other than my souvenirs and crap like that. But it took us back to the backcountry in the Colorado mountains, and it was just me and 9 other veterans there, and so we had 3 guides, and they were fantastic. They did a great job. We had some friction here and there, but between kind of an us and them kind of mentality kind of developed between the camp, the guides that we had. So that was a lot of fun. Just to be able to bond again with other veterans, and even though some of us talked more, some of us didn't, or some of us were from different eras, we all shared that one common thing, and that was that we were all, we did this with our blood, sweat, and tears, and we had earned this trip, and so I want to thank Katie, one of our guides, Travis, as well as Jeff. You all did a fantastic job with leading us and care of us while we were out there. And I want to also give a shout out to Nika, Blue, Josh, Jason, Julie, Trinity, Gail, and Mark, my brothers and sisters in Club Team 6, as we call ourselves. You're more than my friends. I consider you part of my family, and thank you so much for sticking it out with me and being understanding of my snoring and all that. We were at Red Feather Lake in Colorado, just way the hell out there. That's where we set up our base camp. From there, we went out on different little hikes and adventures. We did some rock climbing. We did a trail to the top of a mountain to where there was a lake at the top of the mountain. It was really neat to see, and some of us got it jumped in their skinny dipping in the lake and their skivvies, and it was a lot of fun. What else did we do? We did a lot of bonding. Just being able to talk to each other, because all of us understood what the other person was going through, because they were going through it themselves, or had gone through it themselves. And so we were all at different stages of our life, and our development, our recovery, and it was fantastic and really growing. It's really lit a fire under me to try and do more. And so, peace to all everybody over there at No Barriers. Next week I got camping with the Scouts, hence, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be out in the woods, so doing my broadcasts. I'm going to be with my son's troop, camping, hopefully we're at one of our regular spots, I'll have be able to connect at least with my phone. And it's kind of old school primitive, but it'll be interesting. Well, I'll do it out in the trees and stuff like that, and see how it goes. And that is all I got going on. For today's show, we're just going to be doing a bit about veterans and the veteran community and how we have that camaraderie. And I was hoping to have JR with. I can't get him to. He's not able to connect. So. Okay, never mind. That's something else. Let's see. Wanted to also, before we get into it, one last thing to mention is the 22 a day. And if you're not familiar with that, 22 veterans every single day commit suicide, and among the veteran community, and it's 100% preventable. Just as all we need is just somebody to step in it and to show that they care. And but I'm a suicide survivor. I feel I was so close to becoming one of the 22 a day. And so we want to reach out to our fellow brothers and sisters out there, veterans. If you're struggling, reach out. We got so many sites and so much going on. Resources out there. So don't do this alone. Don't face this alone. You can. You got somebody out there who's got your back. So going into the show, we're just going to be talking about a little bit about No Barriers, some of the things I learned from that, some of the my new show I got going on, and we're going to talk also a little bit about bipolar in general, what that is and what it is. So what is it like? What is this camaraderie that have amongst each other? It's something that if you're a civilian, you just don't understand the whole brother in arms thing. And but the whole brothers in arms thing. And it's to understand that camaraderie, that bond that we have. You have to understand what it is that we go through in the military. Whether or not you are been in a war or you were serving during peacetime. We all did our part. We all served. We all did, made sacrifices. Some of us gave more than others, and there's nothing shame in that. Nothing wrong with that. It's something that I had bad, just from the. I've had friends who were deployed in Bosnia, Haiti, and places like that, and I never got sent anywhere. It's like to read. But we build something, starting in basic training. Day one, that shared experience of being terrified out of our skulls because of this drill sergeant, screaming down at you to get moving and move your ass, and going through graduation, AIT, or your A school, or whatever tech school, whatever you want to call it, and then serving. Having that time, that full time that you're out there serving your brothers and sisters, and serving your country. And that develops a bond that you just don't understand if you're a civilian and can't understand. And when I was separated from the military, it was the hardest thing for me to lose at that time was the that bond with fellow service members, and um, and I struggled for years, struggled badly, and, but I eventually pulled through it, and I have been stable for 6 years now, and living with bipolar, and it's not perfect. I still got a lot of problems, still got a lot of things I fucked up on, but uh, it is what it is, and I can do this. I got this. Um, how will we? I wrote down a bunch of questions. I'm reading one of them, and I was trying to decipher or decide if I wanted to ask this one. One of the things is how are we different from civilians? And one of the main things is that we have a code. And a lot of civilians don't have a code or even what that means. And for us, our code is God, country, service, country, and God, country, and God, country, army, self, I think, or something like that. Anyways, we also had our battle buddy, and we had the credo that no man is left behind, and we took that literally, that person's dead or alive. We retrieve our dead, our wounded, our honored dead, and we bring them off the battlefield. We risk to ourselves, we don't leave anybody behind. And, while you see in the civilian world, people will fuck you over for Starbucks coffee. It's disgusting. And adapting was really hard. Not seeing uniforms every day, not hearing jet aircraft or or helicopters or whatnot, seeing chemicals, the same color building after building after building, just the uniform, everything looks alike. Manicure, I miss it. I grew up with it. I was a Navy brat. My dad did 22 plus years in the Navy, and then he retired from that, and then went into civil service for another 20, and retired from that just recently. So he's been working within or around the military for his almost most of his life as well. And I love the place I grew up. I lived in San Diego, Washington State on Whidbey Island, Beeville, Texas, Norfolk, Virginia, San Diego, and we had Atsugi, Japan, Rota, Spain. So we've been around quite a few places growing up. Growing up, I went to 14 different schools. And so I was always the new kid, except for one time, and that was returning back into our duty. We came back to Japan after doing 3 years in San Diego, and I, for once, was not the new kid because I knew at least a couple of kids that were still there. I was familiar with the school and all that, so it wasn't a complete. I was not treated like the new kid. I was just another military brat. So we are hammered on the anvil of life, and it's it's tough. Military, what we have to sacrifice, but also it reveals that we are a lot stronger and made of tougher things than we realize. And uh, the 22 a day doesn't mean that you're weak if you're thinking about suicide. There's nothing wrong with you as far as that you're broken or you're weak or you're less than a man or because you're thinking about taking your own life. And but don't do it. You can't take it back. This is done. And I was very lucky that I survived. But if you though are not a person that's struggling, there is it's your brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you're seeing if that's how can you help is a big question. And the thing you can do is you can listen. Don't talk, don't give advice. Just listen, and that right there will go a long ways, because that's one of the things as a pastor when it came to giving counsel. Basically, just keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Just listen. And they oftentimes, the person that's talking already knows the answer to their own questions. They know what they need to do, and they don't need they just need somebody just to listen to what they're going through. And so the 22 a day, it breaks my heart, and I hope that we can turn that number around. And by helping support groups like No Barriers, Wounded Warrior Project, your local VA, DAV, VFW, whatever, you got veterans organizations all over the place. Support them. Be sure though to verify who you are donating to, because there's also a lot of scammers out there claim to be part of veterans groups, or they don't, or they collect money and nothing gets to the veterans. So be sure to verify what you're donating to, whether it's money, whether it's equipment, gear, stuff like that can be used. Those things, just verify who you're giving away, giving your support to, and also check out your buddy. I got a good friend who's an Army buddy. It's not we didn't serve together, but we were both Navy. We both served in the Army, and he's my brother. And so I check up on him on a regular basis. Check on your buddies, and it helps them also check in on you, and insist on it that your friends check in on each other. Now, let me give you a little background on that. It's an organization that helps not only veterans, disabled veterans, but also kids in crisis, kids in poverty, to have an experience in the backcountry of Colorado, whether that's a rock climbing trip, a backcountry hiking trip, or a whitewater rafting trip. There's all kinds of things that they're doing, and they have no cost to vets. They pay for airfare, hotel, travel, all that stuff to get us out there. And it's a great program. I highly recommend if you're a veteran, No Barriers. And if not just No Barriers, though, but also check out Wounded Warrior Project and some of the other ones that are get involved. Join a veterans organization like the DU, the Disabled American Veterans, or the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars. There's a ton of them out there. It's most of them are good. I mean, yeah, there are some of them out there that are not all that great, but don't leave it out the water. Is what I'm saying with that. Let's get this up to this hole in the wall, way out there, place called Red Feather Lake. The plan was for us to go on a trek, broken up over the and to a peak to where we can would camp and set up, and then turn around and go back. So it'd be like a day and a half out there, a day and a half back, and the 2 days where we're at the hotel. But unfortunately, because of recent wildfires that are in the area in Colorado, a lot of that land was burned away, and then that was causing, with the rain that's coming down, there's a lot of landslides coming in. So, and the weather's been really wacky up too, with lightning storms and stuff that's not safe to be around. So we ended up scrapping those plans, and we ended up changing over to going to Red Feather to have a base camp, whereas just a spot where we have our tents and we have our meals and stuff like that. And then from there, we went out to different areas for hikes and stuff and swimming and other things, other activities. And it was a really great experience. I learned a lot about myself, and learned that I'm still, despite what I've been through, I'm still a survivor, and I could still, I'm made of tougher things. And so it was a really great experience, and home was kind of surreal after such an intense week. And I never will forget the crew. We were on Road Team 6. And I hope if you all are listening, I love you guys. And hopefully we'll be able to get back together again soon. Let's go ahead, and we're going to go to commercial. And all right, we're going to go to commercial.
Rainbow Soul, a queer perspective on spirituality. Join Hollis Taylor, a non-binary author, witch, psychic, and alchemical mage, with fellow drag king Lacrosse Ortiz, a Jewish Taino that identifies as an atheist. These guys explore deep spiritual topics with weekly special guests and offer dream interpretation and tarot readings and more. Explore spirituality beyond mainstream religion with these uniquely queer perspectives. Dive deep into the Rainbow Soul. A live discussion on Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sundays. Just hashtag Rainbow Soul Vodcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and more. Hashtag Rainbow Soul Vodcast. Featured on the LGBTQ Friends channel, the WLFE DB Network.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you again for tuning in. We've been talking a bit about veterans and the veteran community, and we've given so much and not have asked for anything in return, but we were given a lot of promises, and a lot of those promises are not being fulfilled. And it's sad to say. Our country owes us, and they're failing miserably in paying back what they owe. And they're very good at taking and taking and taking, but when it comes to actually giving back, they're very bad at it. Living with a disability is no cakewalk. There's a reason why the suicide rate is so high with us that have bipolar. It's way up there. I can't remember what the exact total is right off the top of my head, but I don't want to say a number and be wrong, but it's extremely high versus the national average for those of us who attempt suicide and those of us who are successful at it, with bipolar disorder. And for those of you who don't know what bipolar is, it is a disease of the brain that affects the emotional regulation of the body, the brain. So this area of the brain that's controls our emotions is misfiring. It's not working right. If you want to think of the brain as a computer, the brain would be the hard drive, and the thoughts and everything, that would be your software. And so bipolar affects the hardware of the body, the actual physical brain, while borderline personality disorder, which I also have been diagnosed with, affects the what your thoughts and emotions in the software of the body. And to have both of those together is a wicked combination. To not only have the problems with physical problems of bipolar, but also the symptoms of borderline as well, with the thinking and narcissism. And I'm not a narcissist person, I don't think so, but I have a lot of the traits though for borderline, not all of them. But I'm really a tough one to nail down. My docs are really, every one of them has kind of a pet theory as far as what's wrong with me. And I've had some good doctors. I had some really shitty doctors. One doctor in particular kept piling meds on me, and he kept so many meds on me that I ended up almost dying. The pharmacist didn't catch it. It wasn't until the doctor that they caught it. And I had 11 contraindications in these medications, or 7 contraindications in these 11 medications I was taking. And a lot of them were just canceling each other out and making the other one toxic. And so it was amazing that I didn't receive permanent damage from overdose of medication that I was on because of this doctor. But like I said, I did get a new doc, and she was fantastic. She stripped all the medications off that got me down to 3. Um, so that was fantastic. And then they took her away to another VA and ended up with another doctor, which he's okay. You know, we've had our butted heads a couple times and stuff like that. So we've had some problems, but to be disabled, um, the hardest thing was losing purpose. Um, Before, my purpose was I was a soldier, and after that, my purpose was I was a pastor, and I keep losing these careers that I built up to bipolar, and now I'm into what I like to call my third career, which is this radio broadcasting, podcasting, and it's funny because everything else was taken away from me because of bipolar, and here I'm building something up upon my bipolar, and it's tough because I struggle daily with self-care, with brushing my teeth, with taking a bath, with or shower, with doing my laundry, and keeping my house clean. It's these little things that everybody else takes for granted are these monumental tasks for me to overcome, and that challenge me. And bipolar, it drags you down. Your emotions, one minute you can be top of the world, manic, and then the next you be in the depths of depression and suicidal. And it can happen so quickly too. It freaks people out when they see it happen, the emotional roller coaster that we live under. Um, but you learn how to deal with it. A lot of people ask, does bipolar get worse as the years progress? And it's kind of yes and no. Yes, it physically does, but no. It doesn't necessarily have to destroy your life because you learn with age how to manage it much better. And so with wisdom and learning about yourself and what doesn't work and what does work, and so you learn to manage it. You learn to live with it. You learn to live with your disability. And one of the things that I'm working on is trying to dispel the stigmas around mental illness. It is, people are dying. And it's because they're afraid. They're afraid of what their friends and their families are going to say about them or say to them. And sometimes rightly so. Sometimes we are treated horribly by our friends and family, people who don't understand what it is that we're going through. One of my favorite quotes is from the Joker, and he says, the worst thing about having mental illness is people expecting you to act like you don't have one. And that's very true. We are expected to act as if we are completely normal and that there's nothing wrong with us, and that works, and side effects and symptoms and signs, and we don't act out. I was going to have JR on here a little bit about autism. Unfortunately, that he is not able to connect. We don't know what's going on. Unfortunately. Just have a little look over here, yes. I guess, okay. Don't know what's going on, JR. Sorry, dude. Yeah, he was going to talk. He's a veteran as well. He was a Navy corpsman, and he served out in San Diego. And until he was actually later diagnosed in life with autism, with Asperger's, and and so he has a wealth of knowledge. He's a mental health advocate, an autism advocate, and has a wealth of knowledge on the topic of autism. And so fortunately we have him on right now, but we will try and do that in the future, get him to go on, get this issue with the him connecting figured out. We have a new show that's started. It's called Mental Health Happy Hour. It's me, JR, and also Mr. and Mrs. Adams. They are the mental health warriors, and they have a YouTube channel called the Mental Health Warrior TV, and is out of London, England. And so that is our new show. That is on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we are on locally. It's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night in England when it is being put on. So, and well, we talk about mental health topics and issues, and we do it in another positive spin, because so much of mental health is doom and gloom. We want to try a positive spin on some mental illness and the things that we do get from it, which is not very much. Most of it's, not always healthy either, such as, the manic phase that I go through with what manic is it's imagine drinking 2 Red Bulls and doing a line of meth, and then that's manic. I get a lot of things done when I'm manic, but I also get a lot of things started not finished when I'm manic as well. So, but it's like Vincent Van Gogh. During his manic phase, this was some of the greatest he ever. He was the most productive with his paintings. Although his most paintings probably were when he was during his depressive moments. When he was able to paint. Yeah. Well, that's about the most of it I got on the questions and answers. Well, I don't know what else to talk about right now, so sorry. I thought I was going to have a co-host on here, and so I managed to go through all the questions that were meant to be asked amongst the 2 of us and have a discussion, which would have, another 7 minutes of time. But I'm not going to just jump off here just yet. I want to talk about my struggle with admitting to myself that I had a mental illness. When I was discharged from the Army, I couldn't believe that I had those things. At first I had some relief that there was a name for what was going on for me, and I wasn't going crazy, but really I was going crazy. But afterwards, when dust settled and I realized what had happened to me and how I was put out of the military, I fought tooth and nail taking my medication and admitting that I had a mental illness for years. And finally, when it came down to it, when I finally was starting to get sick and getting depressed and stuff like that, I finally admitted that I had a problem, that I had an issue, that I wasn't, that I was broken, more or less. And I started getting help, and I was able to, and that has helped me so much because I can't hold a job. I've tried doing side jobs and part-time jobs and stuff like that, and I just can't keep a job. It's hard enough as it is doing this on a regular basis, let alone doing a 9 to 5 job, where they actually depend on you. Yeah. Coming home. A great trip. And coming home was kind of surreal. Because we were a very intense group, and the trip was intense. And coming home, I was talking to my girlfriend and saying, "I'm glad I didn't cry when I saw," because emotions are pretty great now, and they are. Some things are healing up. There's still some problems that were opened up on this trip. But I hope that I take from this Colorado trip something where I keep it in my heart. And I don't know. Okay. Watch, like, and share on Facebook, TV Radio Network, or WFE-TV.com. Stream TV on the Variety Unlimited channel for our shows and our current show listings. If you are a veteran and would like to play Dungeons & Dragons, we have a group called Dungeons & Dragons. It's a D&D game for vets. All experience levels are welcome. Pull that back up. Contact me. You can email me at bipolardm@gmail.com. Follow on Twitter, which is at Harper Psych Dog, and on Instagram, Harper the Psych Dog. So follow Harper, and so pictures and doggy perspective. I just kind of get back to this Colorado trip, and it's foremost on my mind. The guys, Mika, Blue, Joe, Josh, Jason, Julie, Trinity, Gail, and Mark were my fellow veterans. Some of them we were in different branches. Most of us were from the Army. There was a Navy guy, and then there was an Air Force guy, and no Marine Corps represented, or Coast Guard. But the rest of us were veterans, and a couple of us were also combat medics too. So there was also some fellow combat medics. It's great. We had a lot of shared same experiences with Fort Sam Houston, being in the setting in the medical field as a medic. And we were able to share. We were able to share a lot. And I'm manic right now. If you haven't been able to tell, kind of like the way I've been jumping around with topics and everything. I had most of them written down in some kind of progressive order. I'm very manic. The trip really got the endorphins going, and that's kind of triggered me to trigger my mania. And so, I'm tell. It's kind of hard for me to focus on any one thing right now. So doing this podcast is a little difficult right now. But I'm pressing on, and let's go ahead and real quick just jump to a commercial.
Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab, and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
That reminds me, we do have merchandise available. So if you are here, try to pull it up. There we go. We have the Bipolar DM shirts, the I Hate Bipolar It's Awesome t-shirt, as well as stickers and buttons. So if you are interested in any one of those things, be sure to check that out. The prices are fairly reasonable. I think the buttons are starting at $2. No, stickers at $2, buttons at $5, and the t-shirts are at $20. So you can find that at my Facebook page. If you go at Bipolar DM and check out the Facebook page, you see that I have merch, and be sure to buy that. All the money that I'm raising goes straight to the podcast. I pay for the putting the using the internet usage, so not the internet, but also the internet usage. As far as StreamYard, I have to pay for some other programs in order to produce this show, monthly fees on those, and on top of that, I have equipment to buy. Just recently lost my laptop; it crapped out, and so I have another one, and it seems to be doing okay. But we had to buy microphones and new cameras and everything like that. So we have expenses that we have to keep up on, and this is one to help offset that is by doing Patreon and by selling merchandise. Okay. So finish smoking. So that's my last cigarette. So I'll be quitting after this. So you see it on here. This is my last one, and then again. But quitting cigarettes has been the hardest thing I've had to do. It's hard, especially when it's so easy to get. And the hardest thing is about not buying cigarettes. It's not the not smoking part. I can go without cigarettes. It's the having to buy, keep myself buying the packs. So I'm always looking to get around. Try doing suckers, trying to vape, and things like that. So hopefully I can stay with this time. It did about a week. So wish me luck on that to quit smoking and to live a healthier lifestyle. I'm planning on starting to more, which is, for those of you, it's basically hiking with a backpack with some weight in it. So I'm planning on doing that for exercise, get better shape so that next year I'm ready for this backpacking trip. Because it was fortunate that our plans are scrapped, because I had planned on training my body for being able to do 5-6 miles a day with about pounds of equipment on you, maybe more. And turned out, I did not do that. I procrastinated it off, and I want to start doing that again. Excuse me. So, able to start rucking again, take my dog out. Harper, she needs her exercise, so let's do a couple miles on the trail, around the apartment complex, whatever, just to try and get our time in. And that's what I got going on. Okay. Oh, Bipolar Dragon. that real quick before we go. For those of you who are not familiar, Bipolar Dragons is our spin-off show. A group of us together play Dungeons and Dragons, and so we have guest players come in and play with us. If you'd like to be a player on the show, a guest player, go to check out bipolardm@gmail.com is the way you can email me, or go to Facebook bipolardm. You can text message me or direct message me, or go to www.thebipolardm.com. That is my webpage, and that there you can find previous episodes of my podcasts. Also find my my blog, as well as links to the live show and resources as well. Resources on Dungeons and Dragons, indie writing, and mental illness, mental health. So the page is www.thebipolardm.com. And Bipolar Dragons, right now we are in we're playing Curse of Strahd, and so we're kind of Barovia, that's right, Barovia. So they just entered the village of Barovia, where they were a haunted house. It was called the Murder House. And children in the attic until they starved to death. And so the ghosts of these children appears into the house, which is filled with ghosts and traps and other spookiness as well. So they just found the secret entrance to the stairway to the sub-basements, and so that's where we had left off. And so that's on Sundays. We play Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to check that out. At The Bipolar Dragons is the handle for the show on Facebook on live. Or you can watch us on Twitch TV. If you go to twitch.tv/TheBipolarDM, you can watch any of my shows, as well as including this podcast or vlog or show, or whatever you want to call it. Watch it. But yeah, let's go ahead and tie this up. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate having you with us, and catch on Sundays at 7 p.m. I'm sorry, catch us live on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Strum TV under Variety Unlimited or WFE.com. Dungeons and Dog Tags. Be sure, if you're interested in becoming part of Dungeons and Dog Tags, you're a veteran and want to play Dungeons and Dragons, contact me at gmail.com. Same with Bipolar Dragons. If you want to play, give me a shout out. Sundays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Bipolar Dragons. Want to tell you all to have a great day, and to remember, take your meds. Sorry. Come on. All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Bipolar DM. They love sharing thoughts and ideas. See you next week, 7 p.m. Saturdays on WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows, and that makes for great talk radio. WLFE Digital Broadcast Network is on TV. You can watch all of our shows on WLFE-DB.com. Check out our channels: Paranormal View for all of your paranormal type shows, LGBTQ Friends for all of our LGBTQ shows, Variety Unlimited for all other shows. It runs 24/7 right on WLFE-DB.com. You'll even catch the lives, all in one place. Never miss an episode, past or future. WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.